The Threlk scanners were set to find ore. They found a phantom city buried under the sand.
Magnify that sector now. What in the void is that?
The magnified scan revealed a lattice of straight lines and right angles, not geology but architecture.
This world has no intelligent life. It shouldn't have anything like this.
A full subsurface map resolved, a city grid spanning kilometers, with a central plaza and radiating avenues.
That's a city, a buried city. How deep could it be? The carbon strata would take time to analyze. But first, I need to see it.
He ordered a descent. The Threlk's thrusters lit the thin atmosphere, bearing down on the coordinates.
I've never seen subsurface scans like this. Not anywhere in the Vale sector.
Beneath the vessel, a straight ridge broke the dunes, too geometric to be nature. The Threlk touched down. Lieutenant Vrenthal descended the ramp into air that smelled of dry stone and old silence.
This isn't a natural formation. A wall, carved by intention.
The arch rose above him, weathered but intact, its sides adorned with figures, 2 arms, 2 legs, a head.
He studied a stone face. The proportions were unsettlingly familiar. Look at these tools. The grip fits a 5-fingered hand. Nothing I've seen before.
He placed the carbon dating scanner against the deepest foundation stone. The device hummed, then displayed a number that didn't make sense.
12,000 years. That's older than anything in the known charts. He rechecked the stratum. Deeper. Older. 12,000 years. And the carvings were undeniably familiar.
He backed away from the scanner, his 3 eyes fixed on the glowing number.
Command. This is Threlk. I am sending priority data. You need to see this.
Vrenthal's data packet hit Coalition Command with a priority flag that overrode all routine traffic. In the Coalition Council chamber, the carbon dating readout froze every alien face in the room.
They're seeing it. The silence says everything.
On Earth, Dr. Susan's desk terminal blinked with a priority override. She hadn't seen outside of a crisis drill.
You are telling me there's a human city in the Vale sector that's 12,000 years old? That's not possible.
The alien delegate's image flickered, his 3 violet eyes wide as he displayed the scanner data.
They found Proto-Sumerian inscriptions, 12,000 light years from Earth. This can't be a coincidence. I'll come. But you need to understand, if this is real, it's going to rewrite every history we have.
She terminated the call and stood in the sudden silence of her office, the gravity of the discovery pressing down. She grabbed her field jacket and the stone tablet she'd been cataloging, then walked out to meet the impossible. The shuttle's ramp descended onto the sands of an unnamed world. Susan's boots hit the ground, her eyes already drawn to the stone lines in the distance.
The outpost delegation had spent 2 days trying to convince me this was a glitch. They failed.
Lieutenant Vrenthal, tall and blue-skinned, walked over from the edge of the ruins. He extended a 3-fingered hand.
Dr. Susan, thank you for coming. The site, you need to see it with your own eyes.
I've seen the scans, Lieutenant, but scans don't lie. Take me there.
They walked in silence through the crumbling archways, past statues that watched with human faces.
2 arms, 2 legs, a human face. This is our history. Our hands shaped these stones.
At the edge of what had been a central plaza, they stopped. The city stretched around them, a tomb of silence.
The deepest carbon samples came from here. 12,000 years. I ran the test 3 times.
Susan knelt, her fingers tracing the cold, ancient stone. The investigation had begun, and nothing would prepare her for what it revealed. Susan swept the magnifier across the wall, and the weathered stone gave up its secret. Wedge-shaped cuneiform, unmistakably Proto-Sumerian.
This is from Earth. Proto-Sumerian, the ancestor of all later cuneiform. It shouldn't exist this far from its home.
You recognize the script? It's human?
More than human. It's from Earth's earliest known civilization. But this city is 12,000 years old, 4 millennia before Sumer ever rose.
She shone her torch low, revealing more lines of text. The same hand, the same syntax. A language that did not belong here.
The tools fit human hands. The architecture is human scale. The script is human. This city was built by us.
If it's human, then how? They had no FTL, no ship. There's no record of a colony this far out.
Susan pulled a loose tablet from the rubble. The cuneiform on it was crisp, protected from the wind by a collapsed beam.
This tablet is in near perfect condition. Lieutenant, I need to catalog every inscription on this site. We're going to need help.
She cradled the ancient stone as if it were the most fragile thing in the universe. Because now it was. They pushed deeper into the buried city, and then a black spike rising against the sky, carved from base to tip with tight, ancient script.
Lieutenant, this is monumental. An obelisk at least 20 meters tall, inscribed on every surface.
It's the largest single inscription I've ever seen. What does it say?
The text is denser than anything we found. Archaic variants I barely recognize. This will take time.
She worked through the day, cross-referencing with her database, but every line led to another dead end.
The grammar is Proto-Sumerian, but the lexicon is full of unknown roots. It's like they spoke a much older dialect.
The binary sun set, leaving them in the dark except for the portable lamps. Susan refused to stop.
She hasn't eaten in hours. This obsession. I recognize it.
If I can't crack this, no one can. 12,000 years of human history are waiting inside these carvings.
She pulled her jacket tighter against the cold and kept working. The obelisk had a secret, and she would find it. Morning broke over the ruins, but Susan hadn't slept. The console displayed 47 failed translation attempts.
Every sentence fragment loops back on itself. It's not a narrative, at least not any narrative I've ever seen.
Perhaps it's not meant to be read as language. The patterns might be something else.
3 symbols keep repeating every 7 lines. Not words, markers, like a key.
She isolated the repeating sequence and cross-referenced it with astronomical databases. The match stopped her cold.
This sign corresponds to right ascension, this one to declination. They're celestial coordinates.
Coordinates? Then, the obelisk isn't a story. It's a chart, a star map.
Susan barely heard him. She was already plotting the first set on a physical star chart, her pencil shaking.
She could see it now. A path. A long series of jumps leading away from somewhere.
The obelisk was no temple inscription. It was a record of the stars, and it was about to lead her somewhere impossible. The holographic star chart filled the tent with cold light, Susan's plotted points blinking like distant warning beacons.
Rotate the projection 30 degrees galactic north. Now, there. That alignment matches known pulsars.
These are constellations from the viewpoint of this very world. They built the map from this location.
But if the map is viewed from here, then the path outward, it must lead somewhere else.
They cross-referenced star after star, and with each match the pattern became undeniable, a deliberate roadmap spanning thousands of light years.
Look at this sequence of 5 stars. That's not a natural arrangement. These were waypoints.
Someone, your ancestors, plotted a course between star systems. But where does it end?
The origin point is still hidden on the obelisk, near the base where erosion is worst.
Susan enlarged the hologram, the connected stars forming a jagged line that stretched toward an unknown destination. Only the final 2 coordinates remained hidden. Buried under centuries of sand at the obelisk's foot, Susan traced the completed path on the hologram, her finger stopping at the marked endpoint, this very star system.
The route terminates here. This planet was the final colony, but the beginning, it's gone.
Then we need to find it. The base of the obelisk. We must clear the sand.
They returned to the obelisk with hand scanners and excavation tools. The sun's low on the horizon.
The erosion is worse than I thought. The bottom tier is nearly smooth.
I am reading dense stone beneath the sand. The carvings may be intact below the surface layer.
If even one coordinate is lost, we'll never know where the journey began.
Susan knelt and brushed sand from the stone, her breath catching as an edge of carved cuneiform appeared.
There, a surviving line, part of the coordinate array.
The scan confirmed it was the navigation prefix, but the homeworld's identifier remained hidden deeper, Vrenthal's scanner cleared the last layer of sand. The final glyph emerged, a stylized star with a single orbiting world.
G-type star, third planet. That's our solar system. That's Earth. It's Earth. The origin is Earth.
Your people walked among the stars before the first bricks of Jericho were laid.
The complete map displayed now, a bright thread from Sol to a dozen waypoints ending at this very world.
They left Earth with technology we've never found. And then they just vanished.
They stood in the shadow of the obelisk, the weight of the revelation pressing down, like the gravity of a dead world.
We need to tell the Coalition. Right now.
Susan's image appeared in the council chamber, her voice steady. The colonists were human. They came from Earth, behind her. The obelisk's star map began to glow with a faint light as night fell, as if the ancient stone was acknowledging its secret revealed. The Coalition Council chamber erupted in a cacophony of disbelief. A species they thought was new had sailed the stars before any of them. On Earth, a secure holographic link connected the Pentagon to the Council. The demand was swift and absolute. Find them all.
The obelisk is a map. If there's one colony, there may be many. I need full survey authority.
The vote was unanimous. Dr. Susan was placed in command of a multi-species survey fleet with a mandate to search every Class M world within reach.
50 staff, a dozen ships, and a galaxy's worth of sand to sift.
I'll stay with the survey, if you'll have me. I've come too far to walk away now.
Within hours, the first survey vessels launched from the Vale Sector outpost, their sensors tuned for stone beneath the sand. Each ship carried the translated star map and a clear directive. Any unnatural geometry was to be reported immediately.
Every colony will have an obelisk. We find them. We find the truth.
The search had begun, and the galaxy, once so certain of humanity's youth, would never be the same. 3 weeks of scanning 1,000 dead worlds. Then the Procyon sent the signal, subsurface city grid on world Epsilon 12.
The grid pattern is identical. Another human city on the far side of the sector. It's not an anomaly.
She landed within the hour, boots crunching on purple sand that no human should ever have touched.
Look at the archways. Different style, but human proportions. And there, another obelisk.
The carbon dating scanner confirmed her worst hope. The deepest stratum was 13,000 years old.
Older than the first city. This colony was established before the Vale Sector 1. They spread outward.
She stood in the shadow of a new obelisk, its surface covered in the same Proto-Sumerian script.
They were here too. How many more? How far did we go before we forgot?
The data upload to the fleet was met with silence. Then a flood of requests for confirmation. 2 ruins now. The pattern was real, and the galaxy felt suddenly, impossibly small. 2 days later, a third signal. A buried grid on Epsilon 9. Susan's console lit up with another impossible city. She dispatched a team while she remained at the command ship. The report arrived within hours, carbon dated at 11,800 years.
Younger, but still older than Earth's history. They were expanding outward over millennia.
Before the day ended, a fourth, a world the scouts had almost passed over. The obelisk was broken, but the dating was conclusive, 12,500 years.
4 ruins, each at different points on the galactic arm. This was a deliberate diaspora, not a stray mission.
She traced her finger along the stone tablet she capped from the first sight, its cuneiform now a familiar, chilling comfort.
They left Earth, built cities, and then, nothing. No graves, no war, no plague, just silence.
The 4 planets lit up on her galactic map like warning lights, each one a dead end in a story that had no ending.
We need to keep looking. There will be more.
The search grid expanded. 4 ancient human worlds, and no explanation for why they had all gone silent. Within a month, the survey net tightened. A 5th signal, buried city on Epsilon 5. Carbon dated at 13,500 years. A remote team confirmed it. Another obelisk, more Proto-Sumerian, and the same eerie emptiness.
They're all along a single arm of the galaxy, like stepping stones. They didn't wander. They planned.
Then, just as she finished logging the 5th, a 6th pinged from a scout in the outer reaches. dated 14,000 years.
6 worlds now, spanning thousands of light years and 4 millennia. This wasn't a wave of refugees, it was a coordinated colonial program. But if it was so organized, why did every single colony fail? There's no sign of struggle, they just stopped.
She traced the cuneiform tablet again, as if the answer lay hidden in the grooves.
There has to be a 7th, an origin or an endpoint. Something that explains the pattern.
She redeployed the fleet using the pattern as a navigation guide. Her ships now hunting with a purpose. 6 dead cities, 1 unbroken silence, and still the galaxy gave up no answers. The scout Tycho found it on the edge of the mapped arm, a city buried in hematite sand, its obelisk toppled but intact.
Carbon date, the deepest foundation. Now,
the scanner returned a number that silenced the bridge. 14,000 years. The oldest colony yet.
7. This is the 7th. The pattern completes. But the silence, it's absolute.
She overlaid the 7 points on the galactic arm. They formed a perfect vector from Earth outward, each colony a stepping stone to the next.
Every single one predates our own recorded history. They were out here building cities, while our ancestors were still crossing land bridges.
She zoomed in on each site, scanning for the markers of final days. No mass graves, no weapon scars, no pathogen residue.
They didn't die. They didn't leave. They just ended.
She sent the final report. 7 cities, 7 obelisks, 7 layers of dead stone, and not a single answer. The 7 ruins hung in her display like 7 graves, identical in their mystery. Susan returned to Earth with a thumbprint drive and 7 impossible truths. Her office wall was already covered with photos of the dead cities.
Chemical analysis, strata scans, biological residue. Every test came back negative for violence, disease, or collapse.
She assembled the briefing alone, each slide a dead end. No massacre, no pathogen, no environmental signature, just absence.
Behind that door are men who demand answers. I have none, only a mystery that gets darker the deeper we dig.
The conference room was a wall of brass and dark suits. Susan took her place at the end of the mahogany table.
Honorable members, the 7 sites are incontrovertibly human. Architecture, art, genetics, it all points to Earth, but none of them match any known culture. They predate Sumer, predate Jericho, predate any civilization we have ever recorded until now. As for what happened to them, the evidence is absent. No war, no plague, no disaster. They simply ceased to exist.
The silence in the room was absolute. Not a single question came from the brass. They understood what she hadn't said aloud. Humanity was not young. Humanity was not young. Humanity was a ghost story. The brass filtered out in silence, but an aide stopped Susan with a sealed directive. The Joint Chiefs wanted explanation for FTL transport, Earth trace absence, and colonial failure in 4 days.
4 days. I can't give them answers that don't exist.
Within 36 hours, the story leaked. News feeds across Earth and the Coalition carried the images of the 7 ruins, and public fear ignited. Speculative panels called it a hoax, a weapon, a sign of alien contamination. The Coalition embassy was flooded with demands for proof. Susan retreated to her university office, the only place where the walls didn't demand explanations.
7 cities. No mass graves, no weapon scars, no pathogen residue, just absence.
The priority channels on her desk console blinked with unanswered calls. Pentagon, press, coalition delegates, all demanding the one thing she didn't have.
They want a story with an ending. But this one just stops, like the colonists did.
She pinned the 7th photo to her wall. The city on hematite sand with its toppled obelisk. Now the set was complete. The question was forming in the silence of the room, unavoidable and unanswerable. But she couldn't speak it yet, not aloud. The secure line on her desk lit up with a Pentagon tag. The timing was no coincidence. She let it ring twice before answering. There was no ignoring this call. The voice on the line was direct. Dr. Susan, what do we tell the world? Who were they? Susan's gaze drifted to the wall of 7 photos. The silence stretched.
They're asking me to define the undefinable, to put a name on a ghost. They were us. A version of us that we forgot. We have 7 colonies spanning 4 millennia, all older than our own history. No FTL trace. They just stopped.
The line was silent. She could hear the general processing.
He wants a narrative, but there is none. Only the question. General, we don't know. That's the truth. We don't know who they were or what happened.
She took a breath and spoke the words she'd been avoiding, the ones that gave the mystery its shape.
They were us, General. A civilization that left Earth before our history began, built colonies and then vanished. We have no record of why. No ship, no war, no plague, nothing. We are a species that has forgotten itself.
The line was silent. Not the silence of thought, but the silence of a mind unable to process. A breath. Then a click. The call ended. She set the phone down. Her hand trembled for a moment, then stilled.
I just told them we're a ghost species, and they have no comfort to offer.
The 7 photos stared back, mute witnesses. The silence in the room deepened. Outside her window, the city of Earth hummed with a history that was now incomplete. She turned from the window and faced the wall of 7 photos. They were her case files, her legacy, and her curse. The red string connecting them looked like a wound.
Who were we, and what happened to them?
She walked to her desk, pulled the field notebook from her jacket, and sat heavily in her chair. The leather cover was worn from decades of use. She opened to a blank page. Her pen touched the paper and wrote the first question. Then, beneath it, the second.
I've uncovered cities, languages, maps, but I can't uncover why they ceased. That truth is buried deeper than any stone.
She placed the pen down. The ink was still wet, the words stark against the white. Her hand trembled slightly as it rested beside the notebook. The silence in the room was heavy, broken only by the distant murmur of the city. The desk lamp cast a yellow pool that seemed fragile against the dark.
This is the only thing I can leave them. The question that has no answer. It won't be enough, but it's all I have.
She remained still, her shadow stretching across the wall, while the 7 cities kept their silence and the night crawled on. 12,000 light years from Earth, under a binary star night, the original obelisk still stood. The carved star map no longer glowed, but the stone remembered. Wind whispered through the dead city, but it offered no answer. It had never offered one.
Who were we? What happened to them?
The obelisk gave no reply. It simply stood, a monument to a forgotten people and an unfathomable disappearance.
Those questions will hang in the void for as long as the stone endures.
A century, a millennium, 10,000 more, the silence would remain unchanged.
We will keep asking, and the stones will keep their secret.
The first obelisk would outlast the last star in this system. A question carved in eternal stone. And back on Earth, in a dark office, Susan sat in front of 7 photographs, the same questions repeating in the silence. The binary sun sank below the horizon, painting the ruined city in shades of amber and blood. It was the same light that had shone on the day its builders vanished. Night reclaimed the silent avenues. The obelisk stood as a dark sentinel, its carvings invisible in the gloom, but its message still etched in eternity. Susan's hand rested on the cold window pane. The city below moved on, unaware that its history was a lie. She had mapped their journey across the stars, but the map ended in nothing. 7 cities, 7 gravestones. The wind whispered through empty archways, carrying the dust of 14,000 years. It was the only voice left. The universe offered no answer. It never had. From the first moment of consciousness, humanity had searched for meaning in the stars. Now they found only silence. A silence that would outlast every sun in the sky. And that was the final truth. The question would never be answered, and the dead would never speak.